Hello, world. My name is Max Stein, and I love video games.
I'm the Megabuck. I really love video games.
My name is Raph. I also love video games.
Happy Friday, friends. Vinny here, and I love video games.
And welcome to the Game Treasure Podcast, where we discuss treasured video games of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Warning, the Game Treasure Podcast is not for children, or anyone with a brain for that matter. And gosh dang, I almost want to take that back, because today's episode is going to be about people with brains.
You need a brain today.
You better have a brain.
Incredible, out of left field puzzle game that I thought, I don't know how much we're going to have to say. Maybe we're going to need some other shit. And then we all talked about it right before this, and we're like, never mind. Let's just talk about this game for a half hour. This fucking shit is tight as hell. And I'm talking, of course, about Blueprints, the multi-platform puzzle roguelike game that is very hard to describe, and I'll do my best to describe it later. And we've got some really fun games in our What Else You Got as well. But before we get into that, why don't we start the episode off like we always do by having RetroGameTreasure.com take us back in time with this week's Retro Zone book.
Let's go back in time. Mac's gonna love this one, because I know he loved this one. Today's Retro Zone comes
that
to us
Beast
from
Wars game for the PlayStation 1. If this is the Beast Wars, okay, I was about to say, then we have a mind link, because I was literally thinking about that game in the shower this morning.
It's funny.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. It's not that game. It's okay. We don't have a psychic link. There's no psychic link. Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's not very far off.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
I literally was like, I hope he brings that Beast Wars game. I really like that game.
Scoob.
Let's see, 2002 by Vicious Cycle. Well, transforming robots, check. Childhood favorite, check. Anime. Well, I guess Transformers is still kind of anime, really. Yeah, check.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm talking about 2002's Robotech Battle Cry.
Oh,
yes. Nailed it.
Right.
Man, Raph, have you played this game?
I have
Macross.
not. No.
Benny, have you played this game?
Macross, baby.
Yes, I have, because
Yo.
this was the era of this was the core era of late 90s anime on VHS, and Macross Plus had just released a few years back, so I was still all about it, and I was listening to the albums and all that, so this is a good one.
Hell yes.
This
I
game,
wanted this game so bad growing up, and I never owned it.
it kicks ass for several reasons.
Mm.
One, it's the only Robotech game that I know of.
Oh,
And
there
if
were
you
two.
Like,
There was another one called
Is there?
Invasion. 2
Okay.
years later.
Well, and Macross and Robotech is really fucking cool aesthetically.
Yes.
You know how much I love a robot that turns into a plane, and this anime is nothing but robots that turns into planes. This game is like a mix of like a Star Fox-like arena Ace Combat. What's that fucking game that isn't that what you guys brought the other day? Is the Retro Zone, the Forbidden War or whatever, the Forgotten War?
Unsung War, yeah.
It's essentially that, but then also you can transform into those 3 different Robotech forms: the half plane, half robot,
Guardian,
and the full
the
robot.
Valkyries.
And you
Valkyrie
adjust
Guardian,
your shape
Yeah.
accordingly to the situation. So you got some nice strategy in there, along with it being a dogfighting game. But in my opinion, the best thing about this PS2 Robotech game is this bitch is like cell shaded,
Yes.
and it
I have that
looks
in my notes.
so
Love it.
fucking good, dude.
beautiful.
I love it. I'm letting this be Mac's Retro Zone today. I don't need to say
I
a word.
loved this game when I was
Take
a
it
kid.
away.
Here's
Yeah,
another
absolutely.
thing. Okay, this game was very close in release date with a Gundam game that came out for the Dreamcast. That is
Side story. MSO8
Yes.
team side. or
That
0080
one was so
side story.
popular.
That's another game that I
Wow.
was going, I can't wait till Bug brings that to the Retro Zone. But that game was almost scratching my itch as a child for a Robotech Gundam something game, but it's very slow. The graphics they tried to go, instead of like just being like, fuck it, let's stylize it and make it cell shaded. Instead, they're like, oh, let's try. We got the Dreamcast here.
It's more like
pretty
Mech
strong.
Warrior.
Yeah, and it's first person, and don't get me wrong, I like that game too. But then I just remember being like, I don't think I ever beat it, and just being like, yeah, it's a pretty cool Gundam game. You don't get to play as any of the Gundams. You have to play as like a regular ass mobile suit guy.
you're in
And
the
then like a
gym or
couple years
something, yeah.
later, this game came out, and I just remember being like, to Blockbuster immediately. Like, let's fucking go.
Mother away.
Yeah.
The funny thing is Side Story, not related. Side Story was really popular even among non-Gundam, non-anime fans. So like it was so good, and then when this one came out, it was like, yes, we're getting more. It's happening. It's happening.
A 1-2 punch of pretty
That's right.
good looking Japanese import anime games. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay,
Absolutely.
anime is beginning to trickle into my video game world. The Budokais have come out, and now I
Finally.
have Dragon Ball, and now
the
we're
Budokai series.
here
hell yeah.
coming from the
Yeah.
top ropes. It's fucking Robotech. I'm like, oh shit! I didn't even know I wanted this.
Macross explosion.
Yeah,
Lunar
yeah.
opens up the floodgates. Ooh, people
Love it.
like FMV anime.
That's
Damn,
right.
I love
Yeah.
the cell shading in this game. It
Yep.
looks really nice. Like,
All right,
it's-
I've got your factoid here, Mac. That's going to
Please
make
hit
Raph
me, yes.
really jump off a cliff that he didn't play this game. The main hero in this game is not Rick Hunter or Roy Fokker. No, it's some guy named Jack Archer, voiced by Cam Clark, aka Leonardo, aka Liquid Snake.
Oh, I
shit.
didn't know that.
Hmm.
I didn't
forgot
catch
this-
that. I never
forgot
caught
Damn,
that.
this-
dude.
This was
That's fucking
voice
awesome.
acted.
Holy
It's
Holy
like yeah,
shit.
it's pretty fully voice acted. Yeah, pretty.
American
to the
voice acting.
PS1,
Nice.
PS2 aesthetic of sometimes you hear the same over and over
Yeah,
again,
I
a little
mean,
too much.
You're right. I should not laud this as a perfect video game. You
No,
know what
it's
I mean?
not.
All video games have their flaws. It's a little dated as far as it's a bunch of missions, and sometimes the missions are a little bit repetitive. It involves like killing the silo, and the next one
Yes.
is like kill 2 silos.
Errand
You're like,
boy.
okay.
Yes. Yes, it
So
has
would you
Aaron
say
Boy
this is
syndrome
like
with
a solid 7 or
It's a
higher?
solid
It
7.
definitely is, yes.
Solid 7? Hell yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
it
absolutely.
I
definitely
fucking
is.
love a solid 7.
It's
Let's
great,
do it.
great for the collection. Looks great on the shelf because it's fucking Robotech.
That has to be the copy that we had as kids.
This is one from the warehouse. This is going in
Okay.
somebody's box most
Oof,
likely.
man,
because
because I don't have mine, and I'm like, where did what did I do with it? What am I
might
doing
have
with
the
my life?
GameCube one instead of the PS2 one.
No, I certainly remember that PS2 one. But
Okay.
regardless, what a great banger that can come in your retrogametreasure.com box.
I
and
got you.
Don't, Jesus criminy. I mean, if you have a PS2
Yeah.
and you like anime, so let's talk about, I guess, the adjectives that come with. So this is a shooter, or how would you?
We have a
categorize
separate
this, I guess?
category for guys. This is me you're talking to. I'm the Megabuck.
He
This
knows.
is a vehicle shooter, and we give you subgenres. And what are two of the subgenres?
Mm.
Anime and mecha.
Ooh, I
There you
didn't.
go.
Damn, you get that granular. I love that.
Absolutely, dude. This is
Damn,
why people
baby.
stick around with our service because it's look, can you go on eBay and buy a shitload of games in a big lot and like 20% of them you wanted and the other 80% you have to turn around and sell, or they're junk, or you throw them away, or you swap out the cases with your
Yeah,
other games or something.
for
Look,
sure.
I get it. I'm a collector too. That's because you wanted those specific games. What if there was a service where you could grow the collection for the consoles you want, and you could specify the kind of games that you like down to a granular level, like anime and mecha? Oh wait,
Man.
that's what we do.
Fucking crazy, dude.
Oh, yeah.
For real. If you
You better
if you,
stock some
if
more of
you
all
li-
of that for me.
if you own a PS2 and you like mecha anime, even if you haven't heard of Macross, then you should definitely put it on your wish list, because you're missing out on one of the most core like 80s 90s mecha anime milestones that very few people talk about like anymore. You know what I mean? There's all this Gao Gaigar talk and all these 60s animes and shit, but I'm just like, I don't know, Macross is it's pretty fucking cool, bro.
We watched some Mazinger Z on TV in Japan.
That's
Oh
tight.
on TV.
God, dude.
So-
yes, we did.
Go now to www.retrogametreasure.com. Sign up today. Let them know if you've got a PS2. Put Robotech. What's the sub? Is it just
Battle Cry is this one.
Robotech Battle Cry on your wish list,
Yeah.
so that you can play this shit and see what I'm talking about? And I do mean see, because those graphics are
Mhm.
tight. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to tear this Blueprints game just to shreds, because this shit rocks, and we're going to exhaust all of our opinions on this bad boy. All right, we will be right back. Holy shit. We have a game on the docket today, gentlemen, that took me by surprise.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled program for holy bleep.
I
Oh my
don't
gosh,
even.
you're not kidding.
I don't even know where to begin, other than like, let me. If you haven't played this game yet or heard about it, which I don't know, because this is going to be a week from now. I don't know how you could have not heard about this game, because like I'm about to read off a bunch of shit from Wikipedia, okay? Which you can take in two ways. You could say like I could have looked that up, or you can say thanks for looking that up for me, Mac. And this is only shit that I want to word for word say, because like the things that I'm about to say come from Bloomberg articles and New York Times articles.
Wow.
Like this
Oh, damn.
game, the Rolling Stone did an article about this guy and this game. Like people are already talking about this game being in the game of the year race, and it is a roguelike puzzle game that is like what the
If
fuck?
you could
Okay.
reach your hands into my skull
Yeah.
Yes.
and pull
Guys.
out like pretty close to the perfect game, man,
my
you
God,
are
dude.
Weirdly board game adjacent. It
Oh,
feels a
super
little bit
board
like a
game
board
adjacent.
game.
yes.
That
absolutely.
statement
I'll get
from-
into it in my
from-
notes.
The
Yeah.
statement from Buck is so true, because if you know this man's tastes and how big he is into tabletop and board games, it's amazing. And guys, I have to stress this as well. It's been a while. It's been a little while since all four of us, it's mainly I'm the main offender, but for the first time in like months, all four of us have spent some serious time with this game, and
Yeah.
we are like all just jazzed as hell.
I was so pleased. I was so pleased that these guys. I was like, Buck, you I was like, it's on Game Pass. That's how I'm playing. It's on all the things. And Buck was like, I thought you had it on Steam. And I was like, no, but you should get it. I think you'd like it. I hope. And I was just like, I hope he buys it. I hope he buys it. And
Oh,
then,
I
like,
gave them money.
2 hours later,
Oh,
he's
I'm-
just like, holy fuck.
I very proudly gave
What the
these
fuck is
people
this?
money.
I want to
Or
give
this-
you.
this
Like I'm
man.
playing it on Game Pass, but I want to give these guys money. I think I'm just going to buy it on Steam at some point because they deserve it.
Absolutely.
Well, this guy.
This
And
guy,
This will
okay,
be a game
so-
that if it gets a glorious
guy.
physical edition, I will proudly display it on my
Ooh,
shelf.
same.
Unopened.
Same,
I,
same,
my
same.
own, I wish it was on the Switch.
Yeah.
Come to the Switch
Yeah,
too.
oh, we will.
Million
Um,
percent. If they release a PlayStation physical,
They
I'm in.
just not to derail. Sorry, I know you're going
No,
into the
you're
game
good,
there
you're
too,
good.
but the BAFTA awards were just this past week or two ago,
Okay.
and they have a game category, and
Yes.
Balatro
Balatro.
won. And not the guy that made the game, but the guy that is dressed in the commercial as Jimbo the Clown accepted the award, and as part of his speech, he literally said, "Buy indie games like Animal Well; they're the lifeblood of this industry." And if this had
Yes.
been like a week later, he would have said
Buy
like
Blueprints.
like
Yeah.
Animal Well and Blueprints.
Dead ass. So Blueprints was primarily developed by a person named Tonda Ross. So prior to development, he frequently, Buck, you're going to fucking love this. Prior to development, he had frequently held annual gatherings for his friends at different rental vacation homes, spending time to devise puzzle games spanning the home based on the ideas of the 1992 board game Jewels in the Attic.
This man is my spirit animal.
Ooh. You need to invite him to game night.
Mac,
Yeah, right.
why was that relevant to Buck? Why would you say that? Why would you preamble that sentence? Because Buck used to do the same fucking thing. He literally used to set up puzzles a la Resident Evil
Yeah.
all through our house.
Yeah.
He would write notes on the bottom of a snow globe and then write
Oh my
another
God, you
note somewhere
remember that?
else that says,
Wait,
check
what?
under the snow globe. And,
And
then,
they- and I
and then
made
he would
Ben
have
come
his
over and do
friend
it.
Ben come over and be like, okay, solve the puzzle. And I
One
would just
globe-
watch them like, this is
One
cool as
globe,
fuck.
3 bears. That's all it takes. That was the riddle.
Shit like this.
Incredible.
Buck was
dude.
doing this when he was 16,
I think
17,
I was even
like
younger than that.
a
I think I was like
child,
15
like
then.
wow, young enough to where he was in the house, and,
Yeah.
and
I
we're
couldn't
8
go
years
get
difference.
Ben yet, so I couldn't drive yet. So
I read that and just went, holy fuck! Like this is crazy. But like I don't what.
I love this.
More after playing games like Gone Home and The Witness, Ross became inspired to test ideas in the Unity game engine. He watched that movie Indie Game Story or whatever, the thing where they talk about Fez and Super Meat Boy and shit.
right.
Got
Yes.
inspired by that. A principal influence of Ross for Blueprints was this thing, Maze, Solve the World's Most Challenging Puzzle by Christopher Manson. And it is a book of 45 illustrated rooms that challenges the reader to find the shortest path from the entrance to the center of the maze and back out.
What's the name of this
And
book again?
it's called Maze: Solve the World's Most Challenging Puzzle. Little tidbit about that: there was a cash prize, like a monetary prize, put up by the publishing company to see who could solve like the one of the puzzles in the shortest amount of time. Cute shit he was inspired by. That when you hear about it, you're like, oh yeah, that's like this game.
Published in 1985.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude.
Whoa.
So just one last tidbit. Ross basically almost worked this entire game by himself, outside of some additional art direction, and also he has this jazz duo named Trig and Gusset that do the entire soundtrack for the game.
Sweet, which does change as you come across epiphanies.
Dude, this game is all vibes.
Oh yeah.
Like it is. I literally, it's the highest rated game in 2025 on Metacritic so far.
Man, what is it
haven't
rated on
found-
Metacritic?
It's like I should have read that. I think it's at a 98 right now.
Holy
It's
moly.
almost
That's fair.
perfect.
Almost.
It's basically almost perfect. So I will begin to try to explain the game now, because I didn't, in that whole entire shit that I just fucking said, I didn't even tell you what the fucking game really is.
When I
Look
tried
at
to
that.
explain it to Venny last night, I said, look, when you're 5 minutes in, you will both completely understand what this game is and also have no clue what you're doing.
Right.
I I have hold on.
Fair assessment.
While I just trying to talk about this game, just get me something.
I fucking knew it.
Hello.
Fucking farts.
Oh, I feel so much better now. Hello, my name is Max Stein, and video games are oh my goodness gracious. Now that I've cleared the room, I'll have all the time in the world to talk about how much I nerded out as a highfalutin dork over this game and all of its nuances, bro. Okay. Blueprints is a roguelike game where you play as a young boy who has received notice from his grandfather's estate that you are to inherit his mansion and the grounds that it lays on, pending that you are able to find the elusive 46 room in his 45 room mansion. That is the backstory that you get. So immediately the grounds have been laid for the same vibes we talk about when we talk about Animal Well, when we're talking about fucking Twin Peaks, where you're just like, wait, what's up? There's a 45 room mansion and you want me to find the 46th room?
Mm-hmm.
So immediately it's setting the tone, the way you play. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You build this mansion on a 9x5 grid, one room at a time, as you actively explore it. So you have a step counter in the top corner of your screen, acting as basically the only means of ending your exploration. There are no enemies that will kill you. There is no time limit. There's no quota to meet. It's just you have 50 steps to begin with. Begin searching the rooms, and every time you go from one room to the next, you spend one of those steps.
Got it. You know how to play the whole game.
Yeah.
That's basically it. When you go up to a door to open it, instead of just like having a room appear, instead you get the options to quote unquote draft a room, which is a fantastic double entendre based, playing on the words of drafting as in
Drafting.
blueprints and drafting as in you get a choice of 3 cards, a la a deck builder, and which one are you
Exactly.
going to fucking draft for your mansion on this run?
Mm-hmm.
All the rooms are color coordinated, and some rooms will give bonuses basically based on the number of rooms of respective colors that you have. That I will not. You will play it and you'll go, "Oh, I understand what he's saying."
Yeah, it's not worth
Right.
explaining.
Yeah.
the minutia of it.
But not to mention that this game is also just like loaded with these random like seventh guest puzzles that just like appear in random rooms.
He said the words.
It's
Down boy, down boy.
once I realized that there was like a strategy to the, because like it's like Buck said, you start playing and you're like, wait, what's that now? And then you go into a room and you draw it and you go, okay. And then like 10 minutes later you go, oh, there's a strategy to this. As in, like, sometimes you need a room with steps, and sometimes you need a room that might have food in it. Sometimes you need a room that might need to like sell you something like items and shit. The items, oh my God, dude. This has been Animal Well all over again. I'm so serious. Like talking to these guys about playing, I'm talking to Buck and he's like, oh yeah, the watering can, this and that. And I just went, watering can? I haven't found the watering can yet.
Find the magnifying glass.
Last night,
right?
Benny,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, like on
No,
my third day, I found a lucky rabbit's foot, and Buck's like, I haven't found that yet.
Exactly.
A
Yeah.
lucky rabbit's foot.
I just found it first this morning. Yeah,
So
it's
good, dude.
And he found the
It's so
magnifying glass.
good.
Was looking around. He's, I couldn't find anything. I go, oh, you couldn't find anything, huh? Yeah, I guess it just wasn't in the rooms that I had there. And I went, oh, all right.
Everybody, know, if you watch this podcast or listen to this podcast, you know how much I appreciate when a game is easy to understand and it doesn't explain itself and you just figure it out. Like Buck always says, like with Seventh Guest, it doesn't tell you the rules, but it has to be designed well enough to where I can actually grasp it without it explaining itself. We had the Monster Hunter episode where I was just like, it doesn't explain it to me well enough. And even though this is right on the fucking nose, where it was the perfect amount of time for it to click. And yet there are still things in it where I go, I don't quite know what this is. This object, this item, the design of the games.
In
Dude,
a good way.
Buck, please spill your guts about this game.
Seventh Guest called, they want royalties.
It is a roguelike Seventh Guest.
This game,
which is
guys,
like how, and it's like play it.
if
I don't
you-
even know how to fucking explain it.
I'm pretty sure I made our parents get a Power Macintosh just so I could play Seventh Guest. If you guys don't know what Seventh Guest is, it's a game by Trilobite back in the early 90s. It was a puzzle game where you explored a mansion, had a great story, but its biggest and most amazing feature was that not only was every puzzle different, they never recycled any puzzle styles. They never explained to you the rules of the puzzle, which means the first thing you did at a puzzle was you had to figure out the rules. So the first thing you had to do is you had to play with it. The first puzzle with the cakes, with the gravestones and the skulls, you had to play with it and you had to go, okay, how many gravestones are there? Okay, there's this many. Okay, this is how many there's there. Okay, like what happens if I touch this and there's pieces of cake, and you take certain ones out and then you realize, oh, I have to match up 2 gravestones and 2 skulls with 1 blank cake, and then it removes those pieces. And now it's, how do I get this entire cake to come off the table, right?
Here's a perfect segue. Buck, can you show the world your notes? Let's all, if everyone has their notes, their access to their blueprints notes.
So it starts with pieces of paper, right? And they say get a piece of paper. I said, okay, that's pretty good. So I start to write things and everything else. I start to write down the paintings are on here. I said,
spoilers.
No.
We're about to read our notes, if you haven't played
I'm not going to read my notes because I don't want to even spoil it for these guys. I'm going to show you the structure of my notes. So I take out my trusty samurai pen and I said, no. It's time for the D&D journal, baby.
It is. It's worthy of it.
This had my 6-year D&D character in it because Mr. Venacor, our DM, afterwards, he made us remove the sheets, and my sheets have been torn out, and the pages are missing from my character because at the end he was surrendered to the ether. So I said, you know what? This is the perfect example of what I need to use this for. And so I have pages. I'm 6 hours into this game, by the way. Pages of notes of things that I have solved.
He looks like Jim Carrey in the number 23.
And things
He's
that
been
I
playing
haven't
the game
solved.
for 6 hours, and the man has become a
And
maniac.
I've taken images and printed and pasted them into the notebook a la a madman.
Pull out your phone
With
and
my
look at
notes.
this right now. I'm so for real.
Absolutely incredible.
If you're not watching the video here, you can see my notes inside my actual hardbound journal that has notes for this game, including I'm like Indiana Jones over here.
This is Charlie Day, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, pointing at the
exactly what I felt like this. But you know what?
There is no Pepe Sylvia.
I can do this without being spoilery. Literally, I have found 4 different 4-digit codes. And I have found 2 safes and a padlock with 4 digits, and none of them work on any of those things yet.
Wow.
And so it's like, this is how much game there is.
It's in every room. Me and Raph were talking about this morning. I have never played a mystery game that you go into these rooms a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, you go in them a lot. Some of them that are like not rare drafted rooms, you'll see the same, and you have to give them a cursory glance though, because every room might randomly have items in it, like
Yes.
an apple or something or a coin, and so you can't just like run through every room every time. And so when I'm doing that, like, oh, let me check for coins. Every time I will find something like a painting of a crowbar, and I'll just go, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Is that something? And then I'll just like write down like Den had painting of crowbar, because I'm like, I don't know, man. It's a pretty fucking mysterious game.
This entire page is just notes about the paintings.
The painting.
It's
Yeah, and you know what? This is why I was comparing it to Animal World, because not since I played that game did I walk into a room, see a random object, and go, that's funny.
But this game isn't dexterous at all, which is what I appreciate.
Right,
There's
yeah,
no
yes.
rush to it.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
like Mac alluded to, you have a certain amount of steps, and I had a run earlier today where I literally had like 2 or 3 steps left. It's like, okay, it's almost done. I probably can't do anything else. Well, hold on a second. I got to visit that pump room, and I really didn't understand it. There's a diagram. And then, I spent the next hour in that pump room figuring out how it functions. It has all these things it can do. I couldn't do hardly any of them, but I figured out how it functions so that the next time I find it, depending on what other rooms I draft that it affects, I can do things with it. I could be
Yes.
pretty spoilery free
No.
with these examples.
that is the backbone, I think, to what makes the game so fucking good. Is this dude cracked the code of like, okay, walking sims, mystery games, why are they boring? And it's just like, well, because they're linear. You usually, like, Seventh Guest is good in the fact that it's like it's got a story that's carrying it through. You're trying to
Yeah.
find the seventh guest. In this game, it's got a story as well, but it is drip fed to you a la Dark Souls via contextual objects within the game. And just like Buck said, it uses the roguelike element of like, okay, next time I'll do that. But
Yes.
it combines it
Genius.
with puzzles that you don't know, and the fact that you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So you're always ready to go, what if I draft a room that tells me something about that puzzle that I was just in? Like, me and Buck was talking about the dartboard puzzle earlier, and I'm not going to spoil how it works to you, but I'll tell you this: if you draft the bunk bedroom, there is a piece of paper in that room that says to you, by the way, you don't have to know the rules to darts to get that dart puzzle done. And then it says something like, I always love math. And so then I was like, oh, so now
Once I
I have to
figured
play
that out.
again because I have to draw that room, because now I think I know what I have to do.
I'm so
And
glad
then-
I found that room before I found the notes, because I sat there for 30 minutes, then figured it out, and then it all clicked. And that puzzle in particular gets more difficult every time you do it.
Right.
Yeah, I noticed that on my second go through. I was like, "Oh, this is
That was
throwing
neat.
more of this."
Wait
kind of
till
thing
your
at me.
10th.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. I need to play this game more.
So
But
this
I wasn't
game is
sure if that
constant
had-
board building strategy interrupted by puzzles and critical thinking.
it's just it's weird how a game so minimal can also be so incredibly lush and dense.
Yes.
There's a
You
lot
guys
of
have all played it.
density. Yeah.
Mr. Venecor can attest to this, and the reason why Mac knows how much I love these kind of games. There's a board game you may or may not have played.
Yes.
I'll show it on screen if you want to watch a video here. It is called Betrayal at House
Yeah.
on the Hill.
Okay.
Yep.
This is very obviously directly the game that he took the room drafting mechanic from. This is a game where you're in a house, a haunted house with your friends. It's a co-op game, and you draft tiles in the house so that every time you play, the house is different. And what happens in this game is that it gets to some point where a haunt happens, basically the plot twist, and someone usually in your group ends up becoming a bad guy, and then you have to do a scenario where you have to defeat them. And it rips off every like horror movie in the book, everything from a horde of zombies to a giant bird flies off with the house to demons getting summoned from hell and whatnot too. I love this game so much that I own and have played, and Mr. Venecor got to play this with us, the Legacy version, which if you guys don't know what Legacy board games are, that's where you play it, and every time you play it, you do things to the board that are permanent, and it changes it. And there's literally like 13 chapters to this, and I have tiles that have been ripped up and destroyed cards that were never even added from a deck of cards, cards that were ripped up and destroyed, players that were killed and replaced by other players. And they even have a Dungeons and Dragons version of this game called Betrayal at Baldur's Gate, where it's basically a DM runs the same thing.
So good.
It's all based on that tile mechanic that he's built into that, and then taken the twist and gone with the puzzle with it too, because these are all kind of roguelite too. Every time you play it, you're building a new house, right? And the rooms do different things, and depending on where the rooms are placed, very much so change the way that you play.
I gotta ask, what is the moment for each of you guys that like you decided, holy shit, this is like I'm in this, like I'm locked into it.
That's a great question.
It's immersed me in it, and I'm fucking
really good
locked
question.
in now.
Mr. Vanacore?
I think by the end of my second or third day, I was to a point where, okay, I feel like I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to mess this up. I'm gonna make it to the end. I'm gonna kick this thing's butt. And then you all of a sudden, for the first time, encounter, okay, I've got tons of steps, but I'm out of keys. I can't progress anymore. Okay, all right, it's on now, game.
Yeah.
It's on. I'm coming for you.
I love it.
Yo, that's a really salient, and I guess that's kind of mine as well. Yeah, about the second or third. Like I said, when I realized there was strategy, like as soon as I realized, like, oh, 50 steps is like way more than enough. You know what I mean?
Not.
If I draft it right.
Yeah.
No, it is. It is like because I was like,
well,
I thought the premise was like, oh, don't do too much backtracking. I don't know if I'm gonna, but it's like, oh no. You
backtrack,
absolutely. The premise is like, there's a strategy to setting up your house too. Like if you draft, for example, the control room or whatever, or the thing with like there's like a breaker box. I can't remember what it's called. The utility room, I think it is. And it's just like when you draft a room in this game, you cannot draft it again in the same house.
Usually,
and there's other rooms that will let you do that and items and shit. But so it's like, so if you pull that room that only has one door to it, but it controls a bunch of things. Yes, that room right there.
I have a utility,
Then,
but don't look because there's spoilers.
It's
if you
like
haven't found that yet.
put it in a central spot in your mansion, because that way, if you run into the dark room, which the lights turn off in the dark room when you walk in, and then you have to walk back to that room to turn the lights back on, which is pertinent because sometimes there'll be shit in that dark room that you might want to pick up. For example, I found the lever, Buck, there in the dark room, which you use in the fucking green room to do this thing. And it's just
my lever has been sitting in the coat check for 10 days.
I had a run where I'm sorry. Let's
yeah. What was the moment
Raph's
for
question.
you? Buck? What was the moment for you, Buck?
Skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to get spoiled from the beginning of the game. You guys have all done this, I'm sure. My moment was my missed moment when I said, this is a game about planning out my steps for how many rooms we have here. Can I go outside? Yep, I can. I love this game.
Yeah.
That was mine. So it was my second day. I walked into the house and I realized, and I was like, I wonder if I could step out. And I stepped back a little bit and I saw the step counter go down. And I was like, oh shit. Okay.
That is like the test of a game like that, because I don't know if any of you guys have gotten there yet, but oh my.
I found outside stuff.
Oh my. Oh my. Outside? You were worried about outside?
Yeah.
I opened the garage.
I have one more question about the outside. Did you guys make a wish at the wishing well?
Holy fuck.
There's a wishing well?
It's not a wishing well, it's a wishing fountain. And you can make a wish. I don't know what it does, but you can make a wish. You toss a coin.
You guys found Zoltan in the
I
rumpus
was
room?
just about to. No, Alizar.
Oh, yeah.
Alizar.
Yeah.
Have you
I
done,
I'm talking about big.
Yeah.
That shit is.
Wait.
I'll say this without spoiling it. The overarching story of what is going on is cool and scary.
Is
Yeah,
wonderful.
it is.
Like when you find the surveillance room, for example, which I won't tell you what's in there, but it's just like there's a cutscene that happens just like you're playing the game, and then a cutscene happens, and I just went, oh, excuse me, and then it does a bunch of cinematic choices that made me go, what the fuck is happening? Real quick, hold on, what? Like,
I'm glad you mentioned the cutscenes, because in this game, kind of like in a lot of classic video games, the cutscenes feel like a reward. Like it's so minimal and there's not a lot going on. Right. And so you find a cutscene and you're like, I've found something important here. I've peeled a layer off of this fucking onion of a video game.
I didn't know how far you were yet, Mr. Venecor. Have you gotten the Alizar yet? The Zoltan machine?
I have not, but to Raf's point, it when you hit a cutscene, it actually feels like, okay, I'm really making progress.
Right.
This is important. This is like a checkpoint. I've advanced to
Yeah.
level 2.
Right.
Yeah.
And what was really interesting is, and you know, as you play, you'll find tons of stuff like this, but I was just, it was all about the game. It was all about the map building. It was all about the resource management. Okay, you know, we're building some rooms. Then I found the archives. And then I started
Yes, dude.
reading
Yes,
things
bro. I haven't
been there
inside
yet.
the archives.
Oh, I haven't
And
been
I
there
said,
yet.
whoa, the plot thickens big time.
You get to the archives and it's like that's where stuff is stored. Guess what? There's like 100 pages of shit to read that it's just like, wait, what? Whoa, excuse me, what is happening? Does my grandpa do like dude, and just like the themes of like red and blue as that shit unravels, right? You find that note. Spoilers, skip ahead 15 seconds. You find the note that says red memos are false and blue memos are true.
Yeah.
And I went, what the fuck? Because another thing that you know, if you watch this, that I love about game, I love when games lie to me. I love when they give me
lie to
false
me.
Don't give me a
pretenses.
tutorial. Give me an anti-tutorial.
Literally
Yeah.
try and trick me. And if you can, I'm going to be so pleased when I go, oh, you son of a bitch. You got my ass. You got me. It's like my favorite game maybe of all time is Inscription, a game that just is constantly
Yes.
being like, look over here, bitch. Boom. Like, and you're like, oh, fuck. What the fuck? Where the fuck did that come from?
So accurate.
And this
It's
game
true.
is like so unassuming because it's just like, just walk around. It's okay. Just walk around.
Meanwhile, a
There's nothing
cutscene comes
scary
on,
is
and
gonna
I'm over
happen.
here. Scribble, 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 scribble,
Yeah.
scribble, 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 scribble,
I literally, I have notes like I'm fucking that guy from JFK. Like it's just an insane person. Like,
Back
what I
and
feel
to the
like with
left.
this book,
Back
but I
and
Yeah,
to the
like-
left.
So
the pantry has 5 apples, 5 oranges, 5 bananas. I'm like,
I'll give you this some funny preamble about Buck and one of my best buddies, Ben, too. We were in the gifted program back in elementary school. Back when they thought that it was a good idea to bus the smart kids around to different schools and put them all in a classroom and do advanced shit. I got to do puzzles instead of one day of elementary school and 1 day a week. And there is an old book called The 11th Hour. That is basically about it's a word puzzle context clue book that by the end you have to figure out just from reading back and checking context clues. And it's like that was a basis for me of just a love of puzzle games for like my entire life. This game scratches an itch that I cannot remember the last time was scratched really well, man. Maybe the 13th Doll, which was the fan-made, then officially licensed 3rd, 7th guest game that got released like a decade ago.
I did a run yesterday before work where I was like, I'm not gonna have a lot of time to play this game, and then so I said, I just want to see as many rooms as I can. So I wasted quote unquote like 3 days just drafting rooms that I hadn't seen yet. You know what I mean? Because I was like, I want to just like Benny said, like you get a cutscene and you're like, oh fuck, like the plot thickens. I'm learning some shit now. And sometimes you'll get a cutscene and you go, oh, now I gotta go get the pantry or something like that. Like that's not true, but you know what I mean? Like it'll be something like that. Like, the number of rooms, dude. The number of rooms is flabbergasting. Not to mention that the rooms change in rank depending on how high up that grid you are. And they'll change, like Buck said, the difficulty of a puzzle or something like this. It's just, man, like I was playing and my girlfriend was watching me play, and I said, this game is really fucking crazy cool. And I was in a room that had a random 7th guest puzzle in it, and I knew it's you know beforehand it's got a little puzzle figure, and I said, ooh, I want to do one, and I pulled it out, and it's just it's 3 boxes, and it's one of those like one of these guys is lying and one is telling the truth.
The Labyrinth.
And I was just like, oh, cool. And then I walked over the boxes and then read that, and they'll say different stuff on them every time you drop the room. And I read them. I go, and then I go back to the thing and I read the rows. And I go, okay. And I go back and I go, okay. If he's, and then my girlfriend just goes, just open the blue one. And I was just like, hell the fuck no. Are you kidding me? This is the game. This is what I'm playing this for.
There's
want
probably
to
gems
think this hard
inside. They're
about
a
this shit.
valuable
And
resource.
And just
The
like
stakes are
Buck said,
high, all right?
I spent like 30 minutes just going like, okay, let me just think like a philosopher. I'm just going to assume this one is true. If this one is true, then that means that like one of these two must be false. If this one is false, then that and it's just like, dude, I love that fucking shit, bro. Like I cannot stress enough how entertaining it is.
Just gets better and better the way it plays the game. Have you guys combined any items a la Home Alone for the Sega Genesis?
I didn't fucking know you could do that.
I didn't even know you could do that. That's so fucking crazy.
Wait till you make yourself a divining rod.
Oh my god! What?
Fuck, dude? What?
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Have you
guys found the
any
secret
rooms
garden
yet?
key?
Yes, but I don't know where it goes.
You can put it in any locked door, and then it makes the room into the secret garden.
I didn't try it.
No
It's
way.
So
I didn't
good,
try
dude.
it.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't try it.
That's fantastic.
Because I was like, oh, I don't have any keys. I don't know. Let me use this. I don't know. Is this the secret
I know
garden?
the
And then I
silver
went,
key, okay.
oh, it's the secret garden now because
that
I
the
used the secret garden key.
Garden or the secret? Because there's a secret passageway too. Is
That's
that
a
separate?
different
secret
room.
passageway? Just
That's
leads
a
back to
different
another
room.
They'll let you pick the next color of the room.
Yes.
Right.
You got
Like
the
the-
fucking
like
the
the mirror
aquarium
room
is every
yes.
type of color.
Ah.
The dining room, incredible room, the utility room, the
Yeah.
board room.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, I had a run where I was like almost out of steps, and then I drew a thing that scattered fruit everywhere, and then I went, wait a minute. I've got the boardroom in this run. And I ran to the
Pulls
boardroom,
everything to
and
it.
then all the fruit were there. And I was like,
Perfect,
yes, let's
perfect.
fucking go. I was like, dude, it's the perfect balance
That's
of like Mr. Venacor said, where I was in his camp where I was like, oh man, I love strategy. I love roguelike games. Let's get this fucking puzzle done.
Absolutely.
But then
Yeah.
I hit the buck stage where I found some piece of paper that made me go, oh, hold the fucking phone. What is happening in this game?
Yeah.
And then I hit the raft stage when literally this morning I said to Buck, I want to tell you something, but I'm not sure if you've been there yet. Do you know you can go outside? Oh my god, I just found out you can go outside. Like, oh my god, this game is amazing. It's perfect. It's the perfect game.
Wait till you start upgrading rooms.
I did find one upgrade disc and used
I
it.
didn't know you can do that. What? There's so many little things that just make me go, I beg your finest
That is what
pardon?
makes it
What the
beautiful.
fuck?
Yeah.
And I'm very glad that the progression pacing is what it is.
Yes.
I'm very glad that it's just like, oh, okay, you're at day 10. Now we're going to jump you to that. And it's like there's enough content, not locked behind, but kind of hidden behind it, like a really good amount of progression every time you find these new things. And you have those aha moments and you turn around and you go back to a room that you've explored 10 times and you realize that that thing means something.
Yeah.
It's the roguelike part of it, honestly. There's like sometimes when I play a roguelike that I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to win this run, but I'm going to learn something from it by just messing around. Let me just
And this
try
one is
something.
only learning things.
Right,
The
this
gameplay
whole
is
game.
learning stuff.
You're
Like,
just like, let me just try this. Let me
Right.
not try to get to the end. Let me just draft
Right.
every room that I can or whatever.
Locks.
Or like
Who needs
draft,
locks?
like-
I'll just get a sledgehammer.
right.
Yeah.
Or the lock pick or the
Yeah.
You see, the thing is that I can't tell if Buck is actually talking about real fucking sledgehammer
That's
that
a
you
real
find in the
item.
game, or
That's
if it
a
was
real
like,
item.
oh
The
my god,
sledgehammer's
what
a
the
real
You
fuck?
haven't
item.
done the sledgehammer yet.
No.
Sledgehammer is a real item, bro.
The shovel's
oh my
fun.
god,
The
Mr.
shovel's fun.
Venacor, do you have any closing thoughts? We're about ready to do our what else you got. Does anybody else want to just? I mean, we love this game. Clearly, listener.
Yeah,
just
you know,
play
it's funny
Play it.
because we live in a day of saturation. I've said this over and over. It's so hard to keep up anymore. Where we used to back in the retro days have 2, 3, maybe 4 good releases a year on a good year.
Yeah.
Now it's like you're getting great stuff all the time, and not only that, if you're subscribed to PlayStation or Game Pass or whatever, it's being dropped onto you for free.
Yeah.
So
Boo
it's
this
like
man, give them money.
you just have this crazy amount of content.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to say, oh, this is a must play. This is because everything, I mean, it seems like everybody thinks everything is a must play, but I will
Right.
tell you, from a guy who has probably the least amount of free time, I think I've played games a total of 3 hours this week, and 2.5 of those were blueprints. This is 100% a must have. I've been dealing with a lot of personal stuff, not to get into that. I've been in and out of the country. I was on that Japan trip with Buck, and so games have not been so much of a priority lately, but I got to tell you, I'm really, really excited to keep playing this one. And I haven't felt that way about a game for a while. So if you're in that boat of, you're finding yourself with even less and less time for games, and you have to be really smart about how you budget your game time, this is a good one. Do it, enjoy it, take your time. And I like to play with a little glass of wine when it's a puzzly,
Dude.
brain buster. It
think
just
I'm gonna
it
join
gets
you later.
I
it
haven't
gets
been
me in this.
drinking, but I want to fucking
Lube
drink
the
an
joints.
old fashioned and play this game so
it gets
badly.
it gets you into this nice mellow
Mhm.
state of pondering. Like
Hey,
you can
I'll
just
tell you
ponder
this,
over
too.
a glass of wine.
Let's do a fair's fair. Smoke some fucking weed and play this game. Holy shit, dude.
No,
Talk
my
about
brain would
walk
not
up to a
work.
painting and go, "What puzzle do you contain?
I tell
What
you what,
secrets do you hold?"
without
Like,
spoilers.
The Game Treasure Podcast does not condone illegal drug use. Please
kidding,
check
right?
your
I was
local
about to
laws.
say that.
go get your subscription from the doctor or whatever.
Yeah.
Without spoilers, I have started to figure out what the paintings are, and there's a couple where I could probably use a little bit of.
Don't even
But
tell
these ones
Ugh.
don't make sense.
me. Oh,
These ones don't click with any of the others. What's
I'm
going on
excited.
with these ones?
I'm
how
very excited
intelligent
to
do you have to be to make
get
a
there
game this good? It's
because
so
I
incredible.
was noticing. Like that was the first thing
Yeah.
that jumped out at me. Like you heard me over
Yeah.
voice chat, Buck. It was like, oh, this is a picture of a safety pin.
That
I
was
keep
2
seeing this
hours last
safety
night.
pin.
Me and him, we're just in voice
And
chat
I'm
together,
just
and
like,
neither of
man,
us.
what is? I need all this to make sense. So I'm glad to hear that it comes together.
It just we were literally on voice chat together, both playing this game and not talking to each other. It was just, all
just,
right.
just like little
wow.
comments about what was
okay.
happening, and he was
I got
streaming it
the-
over Discord. So one of
Yeah.
our friends was watching him play it. It was.
But we
it
didn't
was
want
a-
to spoil
was
it
a
for
cool
each
time.
other.
This was last night.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Wow, Blueprints, man, you made me bring out the snob hat for the first time this year, I
Yeah.
think, and we are fucking
True.
in April.
Dude, here's my 20-word review. Lunar Remastered came out today, and I don't care.
Whoa.
There you go.
Damn.
You don't care because you can't get a physical PlayStation copy. That's why
I
you
could
don't
buy
care.
it on Steam right now and start playing it,
On
and I want to
Steam,
play
yeah.
Blueprints.
It's
No, it's true.
If you don't have it and you're listening to my voice right
Buck
now,
took my what else you got?
go fucking play it.
No, I didn't.
It's on PS5's live thing. It's on Xbox Game Pass, but you should buy it, as I'm going to do, because these guys are right. This dude deserves money because he's done it. He's done an animal well. He's made something that made me go, oh fuck, dude, you have something really brilliant here. This is
Yeah.
like really outside of the box. I've never
Truly
liked a walking
special.
sim before, and this is this game fucking rocks, dude. It's
Like,
crazy.
very much a
Um,
special game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
special.
Amen to
All
that.
right. Let's take a quick break and get into our what else you got. We'll be right back. Go Bly Prince.
I give and bequeath to my grandnephew all of my right, title, and interest in the house and land which I own near Mount Holly.
Okay, y'all. We're here at the What Else You Got, the segment of our show where we can bring anything to the table, be it video game or otherwise. Today, I'm going to take this hat off for what I'm about to talk about, because what I'm about to talk about is the opposite of art. Because the other day,
It's fart.
Actually, you're not that far off. The other day, you know how much me and the boys like to get together and watch ourselves a good old-fashioned shitty movie / good movie. Oh, it's so shit. Yeah,
Okay.
you know what I'm talking about, buddy.
Yeah.
The other day, with us five bros got together with all of our fucking testosterone popping. We ate some fucking pizza and drank some fucking booze, and
Clues.
watched the 1988 classic, directed by Newt Arnold and written by Sheldon Lettich. We watched none other than Jean-Claude Van Damme's Bloodsport, my
Bloodsport.
friend. Dude,
Hell yeah, dude.
I had not seen Bloodsport since I was a child.
Oh, you must be
I
Frank
remember-
Dux.
Frank.
No, it's Dukes.
Yes, nice.
like put up your
Frank
Dukes, right?
Dukes.
Dukes.
Yeah, bro. Jean-Claude Van Damme is unintelligible in this movie.
Yeah.
He plays like a ninja, literally like a ninja who's also like, I think he's supposed to be American in the
He
movie.
is, yeah.
And it's like they were on set and they go, can you do an American accent? And he went, no. And they went, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Do we want to change the script at all? No, it's cool. And so it's just like, oh, hey, I'm about to. I can't even do his voice, bro. He's ridiculous sounding in this fucking movie.
So good.
The irony here is that this movie grossed $50 million on a $2.3 million budget.
It made his career.
$2.3 million sounds like a lot of
Yeah.
money until you realize that movies cost like $50 million. And you can tell that this movie only cost $2.3 million, and 99% of that was spent on Jean-Claude Van Damme and Ogre, because holy shitballs, this movie is so ass.
Funny.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's really funny, and we laughed our asses off the entire time we watched it. But bro, it is primo like MST3K like worthy shit. Like, okay, so the movie begins with Jean-Claude Van Damme learning that his brother
never seen
in Kung
Bloodsport.
Fu like has died, and it's like Jean-Claude Van Damme going to revisit his like Kung Fu master who fucking hates him. It's like they do a flashback of Jean-Claude Van Damme as a child, like, how did he meet the ninja master? And it's this. When Jean-Claude Van Damme was a child, him and his friends broke into the ninja master's house, which was just, the window was just wide open. They just walk through it, and in the center of the room, just like on the floor, is a katana. And they're like, this actor playing baby Jean-Claude Van Damme, who is also French, is just like, all his friends run, and he's just like caught there with the sword, and the ninja master's like, what are you doing? And he's just like, nothing. And he's also unintelligible. Like, and I was just, me and we're just losing our fucking minds.
Oh my gosh.
And
Dude,
then it cuts through all of his training scene, and there came to a point where we go, wait, is this still the montage?
That
like, Jean-Claude Van Damme-
was like 20 minutes long. This movie's
Perfect.
an hour and a half long.
The montage.
It's
is
the
important.
longest setup ever. Oh,
Yeah.
bro. It's got the guy from Revenge of the Nerds who goes, nerds, in it, and he plays a guy whose name is not important. And it's just like, my big takeaway from this movie is that it's like the slowest kung fu movie ever. Like, every fight scene is just a slow motion image of Jean-Claude
Yeah.
Van Damme punching a guy once, and then they just like,
Bloodsport.
and they're dead. It's
Fun side note: when we were in Japan, we also watched on TV Drunken Master starring Jackie Chan.
We watched
Nice,
that
yeah,
right after.
yeah.
We watched Drunken Master
That's
right
funny.
after, because I said, let's watch a good kung fu movie. And then we put that on, and we were like, see how Jackie Chan fights with more than one punch at a time? That's what fighting is like, Jean-Claude Van Damme, instead of 1,000 images of you doing the splits in various places. This movie is off the charts stupid. If you haven't seen it, get your friends together, go watch Bloodsport, and make fun of it the entire time. It is
Get
fucking
drunk.
hilarious.
Get
At the
drunk.
end, they're like, this is based on a true story. And I was like, what the fuck? And I looked it up, and then it's just like, yeah, that guy fucking lied his ass off. None of this is true. He's a
Yeah.
fucking
A
liar.
true made-up
It's-
story.
It's really amazing.
Fish tale.
Oh my God. That's my what else you got. I loved every second of it. Buck, what have you got for this game? I know you got a couple good games for us this week.
A couple good ones, yeah. I got to play Ichiban's Holiday, the Dave the Diver DLC, which was a lot of fun. Playing.
How are the Ichiban parts?
I hadn't played a lot of Dave the Diver, so I had to play through more Dave the Diver, which is a beautiful game, by the way. So I got to the part where you get to play as Ichiban punching pirate divers under the water, and then getting to the beat 'em up part, which is super cool because the player 2 is your like mentor in that game, Cobra, the guy gives you your money and stuff. And then you get to the boss, and the boss is too hard, so Majima shows up, and then you get to play as Majima and beat the shit out of the boss as Majima, which is pretty
sick.
cool. And then there's some
I gotta
cooking
jump
thing
on that
I didn't do
on your
either.
family plan.
And then the next one was Time Gal HD came out
Hell yeah.
on Steam and other they freaking Time Gal and Revenge of the Ninja Hayato, whatever it's called in Japan, both came out on Steam. Oh, holy smokes!
Raph
that was
got
just.
to play this as well. We've talked about this. I don't remember where.
Is
but
it your
this
first
like
time
the-
playing? You know
Yeah.
where we talked about it? Because we
Beautiful.
talked about FMV games, and I talked about how I want to play Time Gal and Road Adventure, and they got manifested.
I think it was on the watch along
right.
streams. Yeah.
Oh my
because-
God, that's right. So
Yeah,
it's like
actually,
a Dragon's Lair,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
But it's
all,
cute anime
back
shit.
in the mid 80s, Taito realized that, kind of like how they did with cartridges, that they could make different games on the laser discs, and the operators could just swap the laser disc out, and it could be a different game in the machine, right?
Mm-mm.
So they made a bunch of different ones like this, just like Dragon's Lair. They made a Lupin the Third one where they just took excerpts from one of the movies, I think, and made it into those. And that's where games like, Cobra Command and Road Avengers came from. They were mostly Taito arcade games that were then some were
Mhm.
ported to consoles, some weren't.
I did a fun thing with it. I played it on this thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
On an arcade stick? Oh, that's
Look,
great.
Rap's holding up a arcade fighting stick.
That's a
Yeah,
great
good
idea, dude.
That's fun. I
That's
mean,
a
it's
great
just
idea.
directional buttons
Yeah.
that you're basically. Yeah, but it was good. It was fun.
Yeah.
You know?
And the
How's-
last one is I got inspired by Mr. Venecor after our Japan trip. There was a lot of anime that I want to watch, and we have both very quickly realized that there's a lot of anime that gets released, air quotes, in limited runs, but they don't really say that, and then you just can't find it. I'm looking at Gundam series that are not an uncommon thing, and you can't get the second season of Gundam 00 right now for retail price. It's like over $100 second market. So I've started buying some anime to have some more anime in my physical collection. And I started with my favorite Ghibli movie in steelbook version, and that's Nazca, Valley of the Wind. Look at this
Attaboy.
beautiful
Yes.
green
Wow.
steelbook.
That is
Holy
gorgeous.
Brilliant,
smokes.
touching movie. That's your favorite?
This is my favorite Ghibli movie.
That's
yes.
impressive.
I absolutely love
Good
it.
choice.
I
That's
just
like
love
one of
the
his first ones too.
I like
It
the
is his
universe
first.
too. I
Right,
really like
yeah.
the universe in this one. That's one of my favorite things.
Ah,
I don't always
okay,
like the
that makes
heartwarming animes, but I
I was
really
just about to
love.
say that's a little bit of a touching thinker about like
yeah.
you know the state of the ecology of the
Mhm.
world. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
the bugs and how they're all driving them out, and
and
they're
what
not
we're
really
doing
bad.
to the planet with the pollution and shit.
Really, really great. And then the second one is one that Mac, you might have seen, and I remember watching with Ben because I remember renting it from Blockbuster, and that is the last time I saw it, and that is Venus Wars.
Dude, I think about this movie like every other month.
Dude, this is
Venus
like
Wars is
$15
fantastic.
on
I've never
Amazon
seen
right
this.
now.
Fuck yeah, dude! Too long to get into the plot. Highlight these unicycle races.
Yes.
Dude, yeah, I remember.
This is
oof.
the biggest thing for me is this is from that generation of anime where everything was still hand drawn, and
Yep.
dear God, were they meticulous about
Yep.
it. When they show a machine,
Yes.
you think it's real.
This and Demon City Shinjuku. Those two
Ooh, yeah.
90s animes like
Ooh.
share space in my head because I think I probably watched them when I was too young and they kind of scarred me.
You should come over and watch some Venus Wars.
That
then.
movie whoops ass, 100%.
Hell yeah! So
Nice
I'm gonna
pick.
call this my animail call, but I'm gonna start doing more of these because I'm gonna pick up
Ooh.
some more
Nice,
anime.
Nice. Raph, what else have you got for us this week, sir?
Well, I played a game that was recommended to me by a friend, and I was pretty delightfully surprised by it. This game was called Fading Afternoon, and I thought it was a beat 'em up, and it is kind of a beat 'em up, but it's kind of not either. It's like this open world sandbox beat 'em up where you play this freshly released from prison Yakuza who is like kind of old, like he's a middle-aged Yakuza, and
Not Kazuma Kiryu, a different.
Right,
older
yeah, I
Yakuza
believe,
release as
I think I wrote his
Let
name
them in.
down.
Let them in. Finish.
Yeah, I think I wrote his name somewhere in here. But yeah, I mean, you're playing this aging Yakuza, freshly released from prison, and like it doesn't tell you anything. The game doesn't really tell you how to play it, what to do. I spent the first like half an hour just walking around the city streets, smoking cigarettes, getting my guy drunk, and then going back to my apartment, passing out, and just like doing that over and over again. And I realized I'm like, oh, I've got to like fight random people in the street. So you got to find random gang members
Cool.
to fight, and then you start wars in certain areas, and you kind of like you'll start like these waves of people that will fight you, and the fighting, dude, the animations in this game are so fucking good. I don't know what it is. It's something about it being
Yeah.
so smooth. You can do
It's like
things
Dave
like
the Diver, the way that this
Yeah.
pixel art is. Yeah.
you can grab people's punches, break their arm, and drop them, and then like dive into them and just like beat them on the ground and stuff like that. But I think where this game really shines, it's like its story. The way it's told you, it's just absolutely cinematic. It feels very cinematic. The music is really good. But yeah, no, dude, this game kicks ass, dude. Like
got
the
it on
fight
Steam?
sequence. What's up?
It's on Steam.
It's on
Where you
Steam,
playing
yeah.
it?
Developed by this guy Yayo. It came out in like
Say a lot.
2023. Published by Indie Arc and Yayo. I guess he makes a bunch of other games too. But yeah, what's up?
If you're a physical game head like me,
Mm-hmm.
as of this recording, they just opened pre-orders for physical of this
Yes.
on Switch.
I want to get it because they
Oh.
apparently that version is different from the one that's actually available in the digital store. The digital version is heavily censored, so like you can't have a second wife, you can't do any of the gambling or anything like that. The physical copy
Sorry, did you
has
just say
all
you
that. in
can't
there.
have a second wife?
Yes, yeah.
Thank you
You
for
can
not
get
just
us.
letting that
Yes,
slide right by, Buck. I was gonna say something, but I didn't want to derail it.
Glazed right over it.
yeah.
Glazed right
Yeah.
over it.
You can't
Yeah, I
do
don't
fucked
wanna
up
say
shit
too
like have a
much,
second
but-
wife. What's
yeah,
up?
yeah, or gamble and like no.
What's up?
But yeah, definitely check it out. It's a great game. The other thing that I got is that it was on sale on the PlayStation. I picked up Armored Core 6.
Cool.
Oh yeah, yeah, nice.
Nice.
That game slaps. I'm having a really good time with it. It's you know, like that game that you mentioned actually for your BattleTech. You mentioned your, or was it Robotech? Sorry, Robotech
yeah.
for your Retro
Yeah.
Zone. Reminds me a
Yeah.
little bit of that. I've only ever played Armored Core, I think 9 Breaker, which is kind of universally considered to be like the bad one in the series. But I was pretty delightfully surprised by this one. Combat feels good, man.
Funny.
It's very zippy and fast. You know, you've got like a fucking sword on one hand. You've got like a machine gun in the other. You can kind of like press a button to launch yourself at the enemy and then do this crazy sword attack. I was getting my ass handed to me by the first boss in the game, like over and over again. I was like, oh, that's right, this is a FromSoft game. I forgot. But once you get past that tutorial boss, it's not too bad. But my favorite part is honestly getting to customize the mechs however you want.
Yes.
If you've never played an Armored Core game, that's a pretty big part of the series. But yeah, no, dude, Armored Core 6,
cool.
it slaps.
Oh, yeah.
I just
Play
picked up a copy of Armored Core 3 for my own PS2 collection.
Nice.
That's crazy.
Oh,
Awesome,
that's crazy.
dude.
I still
Awesome.
have
I've heard that's
my-
a good one too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a good one. It's
Yeah.
a good one.
Mr. Venicor, have you got anything else for us this week, sir?
Man, well, if you're watching and seeing the visuals, you can see that for the first time, we are in the new man cave.
Hell
We're in
yeah.
the new game
Yeah,
cave.
bro.
So we have everything, well, almost everything set up. The shelves are still a little bare, but I'm getting there. And
Look at these
started-
beautiful
I see
pinball
them
machines.
pinball machines back there.
Yeah, we
You
have
sly
Dungeons
dog.
Dungeons and Dragons pinball machine. We have Guns N' Roses as well, limited, and it's feeling good up here. But what else you got this week? A couple of pickups from Japan, from the Japan trip, because this is first time I've had the opportunity to really share. I am big into the musical side of Final Fantasy. I collect Final Fantasy soundtracks, CDs, albums, concerts, etc. So I got a couple of really special pickups when I was in Japan. This is the Final Fantasy 14 and Back Again piano concert from 2024 Fan Fest, and it's a Blu-ray concert that lets you download the MP3s via your own home network. So it's a full-on concert album, and it lets you download the music as well on your phone. Yeah. And similar, the Primals, the live from Yokohama from 2024. And this is current. This is 100% current, like as of 2 patches ago, is when they were playing this.
Yeah, that was during the Fan Fest, I think, maybe?
The Yokohama one wasn't during the Fan Fest, but the piano album was. And a couple last little things, because those of you who've been with the podcast for a while and or follow me on Twitch, you know that Final Fantasy Tactics is my favorite game of all time. I picked up a Japanese copy of Tactics from a used game store, full
At Super
inbox.
Potato. Didn't we buy that at Super Potato?
We bought this at Super Potato.
Love it.
And
Look at that
in
thick ass case.
yeah,
yeah.
dude.
Yo,
yeah,
what
yeah.
the fuck,
Oh my
Japan?
God.
Look how
All the
awesome it
Japanese
is.
and Europe too. It's only us that got the
if
slim
a
little
Playsta-
cases.
It's like if a CD case and a cassette case had a baby.
Yeah.
We're
the only ones that got the shitty slim ones.
And
UK
what's really
and Japan
cool
had the thick ones.
Is we were hunting for certain things while we were in Japan. So the day we were in Osaka, I ended up finding a box copy of Final Fantasy VI.
baby!
A
Oh,
full
God
box
damn.
copy of
Holy
FF6.
One of my favorite things to do in
Motherfuck.
Japan is hunt for specific things, and everybody had a list. And it's like, great, this is what I want to do on my vacation.
I found everything except one. There was one particular thing that we were looking for the whole time we were there that I could not find, and it was the Monster Hunter PS5 controller, which was a Japan only thing. You can get one on eBay for like $110, so whatever. And last but not least, the very last day we were shopping in Akihabara, we went to a used game store that we'd been to probably 2 or 3 times, but I really wasn't keeping an eye out for anything in particular. Well, this thing caught my eye. This is the Japan only Final Fantasy 15 steelbook. There was with the Amano
Royal
art.
edition, yeah.
The one with the
This is-
boys?
Yeah,
Cute boys?
this is the FF15 Deluxe Edition.
The
But the
road
thing
trip.
is, this includes the game and the movie and the Kingsglaive movie. So this is actually a 2-pack.
And that wasn't that like $12?
Yeah, it was 1,500 yen, $11.
Yeah. So when I
So-
found it, I was like, they
What
had those
the
in Yakuza,
fuck?
and I'm like, hey, Venny, I got to show you something in this store. I've been walking through these stores today by myself, and I found this. I think you're gonna love it.
That is
Mhm.
cheap as hell for a
Yeah.
video game for the PS4 and a movie?
You know, the cool thing is I'm big into steelbooks. I really just love steelbooks. I've got two of them for FF16. I got this one now. Anytime I can get a steelbook, I do. Monster Hunter Wilds, I got the steelbook version. So when I saw this was like an opportunity to upgrade my copy of FF15, really. So I said,
Nice.
you know
Pennies
what?
on the dollar.
Yeah, seriously. I'm
No
when
kidding.
else am I gonna be here? You know, maybe in 2 years. But when else am I gonna be here? Really?
Maybe next
So
year.
it was a really great
Oops,
no,
already booked
seriously.
my flight.
Seriously, now my wife wants to go to Japan so bad now.
Oh,
So
my
her
girlfriend
and
wants to
Princess
go
M
too.
would have a blast.
yeah, they really would. So that's my what else you got. Really excited to share some of my Japan merch that we picked up. Really excited to be back and at this point play some more Blueprints, if I'm being honest.
Hell yeah. Well, hey, that does it for our show. Thank you for listening or watching, dear Brad and Bradettes. Do us a huge favor. Like and subscribe if you've come this far and have not done so. If you are just listening to this, don't forget you can pull it out of your pocket during Spotify and take a gander. This is a video podcast. See all those goodies that Venny just flashed and all the goodies from earlier. The fucking
the
Buck's
dragon's head
notebook. That
moving.
shit is crazy.
You can see a dragon.
You can reach out to us via email with any questions, comments, or games you want us to play at gametreasurepodcast@gmail.com. You can find our merch at our Linktree /the GTP. While you're there, you can also find our patreon.com /the GTP. Become a subscriber, and you will unlock our UFO 50 Deep Dive series. We're 3 episodes in, and I think we need to record the next one tomorrow. We want to thank Crunkwitch for the use of our theme song, Clash of the Droids. They are a very nice duo prog rock band that you should look up on Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube or whatever.
Wherever music is sold.
And we're very good. And of course, we would like to thank RetroGameTreasure.com. You heard the Retro Zone earlier. RetroGameTreasure.com is a business owned and operated by the Megabuck himself. It is a subscription service that sends you customized boxes of video games, retro video games, I should add, every single month. So no more hunting, no more guessing. Like Buck said, no more buying an eBay lot only to have 6 of the games within the 20 be ones that you wanted, but you're like, oh, it's cheaper this way. Instead, Retro Game Treasure subscribers, once you make your profile, you basically tell them what game systems you have and what game genres you like. We talked about earlier how granular this gets, and what that helps Buck do is basically at the end of every month, he packs you a box of retro video games based on those criteria that you selected before. So if you own a PS2 and you own an N64 and you really like puzzle games and you really like racing games, your box would be filled with PS1 or whatever I just said, and N64 games that are puzzles and racers. Make sense? Want to start collecting a new console? That is no problem with RetroGameTreasure.com because they also have a console shop section of their website where you can go and buy new and refurbished consoles and accessories. Then you go over to your subscription page, select the new console that you just bought. It comes in the mail. Then at the end of the month, games for that console start appearing in your box. It works like magic. It's an incredible service. So go now to www.retrogametreasure.com and start collecting games the easy way today. Buck, hit me with your list of this week's subscribers.
This week we welcome Joe Rivera, Justin Regan, Brian Chavez, Matthew Brewer, Cody Sardiff, Zachary Thomas, CJ Allred, Alexander Vibert, Matthew Jordan, and George Brown.
And Raph is cleaning up dog shit or something. My name is Max Stein, and I love the Game Treasure podcast. It is so bad.
Yeah, it's so bad.